Ever heard the saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions?
Oh, yeah,
We're
definitely.
going to unpack that today, looking at FOSTA SESTA.
Right.
Law is meant to help, but
Sometimes they can backfire, is the thing.
yeah, and today we're diving deep with a survey from COYOTE RI.
They advocate for sex workers' rights.
Mm.
So their perspective on this legislation is really important.
Absolutely. So we're not here to debate the law itself, but see what happened because of it, like on the ground.
Exactly, the real-world impact,
And for that, lived experience is data.
which is often missing, yeah.
This survey, it was done in 2022, a few years after FOSTA SESTA, and it was designed with the people it was actually studying.
Oh.
Yeah, participatory action research, they call it.
That's really putting the power in the hands of the people, those most affected.
Exactly. 332 people started it, 227 finished. That's a really good, response rate.
It is. Shows you how important it was to them.
And get this, these responses were used in legal challenges to FOSTA.
Wow, so it's action-oriented research. Really making a difference.
Okay, so the findings. This is where it gets, honestly, kind of surprising. Straight up, the survey found FOSTA increased sex trafficking.
See, that's what I mean about good intentions, right?
Yeah, it's like how?
You got to think, it made things riskier online. Advertising, screening clients, all that. So it pushes things underground.
And out of sight, out of mind, it's easier to pretend it's not happening.
But that doesn't mean it's gone. If anything, it makes it harder to track, to help.
So it actually might be having the opposite effect of what was intended.
Potentially, yeah. And that's what we need to look at.
And it wasn't just trafficking either, right? It had other impacts based on the survey.
Yeah, we're talking about overall more dangerous and exploitative conditions.
Like across the board.
It seems so. We'll get into that. Yeah, the law wasn't trying to make things more dangerous, right?
Right.
But when you, take away options, it kind of forces people into riskier situations.
Yeah. Makes sense. It's about those unintended consequences, I guess. Trying to solve a problem
And you end up creating new ones.
Yeah.
The survey actually, they dug into two specific ways FOSTA increased vulnerability.
Oh, okay. So, what did they find?
Well, the first one is about working conditions.
Yeah, made sense.
Yeah.
Less safe in general.
Right. So before the law, online was a way to screen clients,
Oh, interesting.
negotiate terms, even share info about bad clients with each other.
So, a safety tool almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then FOSTA comes along, those platforms are gone, shut down, or just scared of getting in trouble.
So it's like you're taking away someone's way to protect themselves and then blaming them for being in danger?
Exactly. And that leads to the second kind of vulnerability.
Okay, what's that?
Support networks. If you're terrified of getting arrested.
You're not going to reach out for help, even if you really need it.
Right. Imagine something awful happens to you, but you're doing sex work. Do you go to the cops?
Knowing that you could be the one in trouble.
Exactly. Who do you tell? Can you trust anyone?
So it creates this, atmosphere of fear, of isolation.
And that makes you more vulnerable to being exploited all over again.
It's a vicious cycle.
It is. And what's really wild is the survey found this went even beyond just sex work.
Oh, wow. Okay, so, what do you mean? How?
Well, they found that FOSTA decreased overall public safety.
Wait, the goal was the opposite, right? How does that even,
I know, it's counterintuitive, but...
It's complicated, yeah.
But basically, by making things hidden, they're harder to, address.
So even if it seems better on the surface because it's not as in your face?
Right, you haven't solved the actual problem.
So we had this law, FOSTA SESTA. The goal was to reduce sex trafficking, which obviously...
Yeah, who's going to argue with that?
No one. But then we get this survey from COYOTE RI, and we're hearing directly from sex workers themselves. And it's like, hold on, maybe this had the opposite effect.
Yeah, more danger, less support, more fear.
It really makes you think twice, about trying to solve complex social problems with, a quick fix.
That's the thing. Good intentions, they only get you so far.
Yeah. And especially when we're talking about communities that are already marginalized, we have to be really careful that our solutions aren't actually making things worse.
100%. It all comes down to listening.
Right?
Hearing from the people who are actually affected by these policies.
Absolutely. We can't just assume we know what's best. Gotta have these conversations, even if they're difficult.
Exactly. And be open to changing our minds based on, actual evidence.
Not just what we want to be true. Well, this has been a lot to think about.
It really has.
So to everyone listening, keep asking those questions. Keep learning. It's on all of us to create a better world. But that starts with understanding the complexities of these issues.
Couldn't have said it better myself.